Hey, today's Wednesday, so you've got Jay. Ooh, rhyme. So welcome to Wednesday with Jay. That's not going to be a thing. I won't do that. I just cringe as hell. So the topic for this week is passing. So I figured I'd talk a little bit about sort of the importance of passing. So like how important it is to me versus how important it used to be. Sort of reasons why it can be important to some people and reasons why it isn't really that important to other people. So for me, I'm lucky enough to be able to pass pretty easily, probably about 90% of the time. Which is obviously a pretty good thing, and I think it means that I don't really think about passing that much. Like, I know that most of probably my passing comes from my voice, because my voice is just kind of naturally quite deep. So the other like 10% of the time that I don't actually pass is probably just because of my features and the way that I look. You know, I know that height is a big factor in the fact that people kind of determine that I have no facial hair, I'm quite short, I must be female. But those 10% of the time is basically just when, like, if I go into a shop or I see someone very briefly, I don't even say anything, or I might say, like, one word. So they're not times that ever really bother me and make me think, oh, you know, I should probably say something to them because otherwise they're not going to know, because it's, like, a one-off thing that I'm not going to see them every day again. You know, if it was somebody that, like, I worked with or somebody that it were in my college group and I saw them, like, every single day or every day that I were at college, then I would try and sort of drop hints and make them sort of see that I'm a guy and not a girl or whatever. But when I was thinking about this, at first I was sort of like, well, passing's not really that important to me. But when I actually properly sat and thought about it, I was like, no, actually, it does matter to me. The only reason that I would think that it doesn't really matter to me is because I pass quite well, so it's not something that, again, I don't think about it that often. But I remember the first time that I ever sort of knowingly passed. It was the day that I decided to come out, and it was just so coincidental, but it's the fact that somebody saw me as male, and for the first time it was like, that is so amazing. And also, it probably had an added effect to the fact that I'd already planned on coming out that day, and it was the first time that I'd passed as male. But at that point, I never started binding. I wasn't wearing particularly masculine clothes, and it was just like this joyous feeling, like finally somebody saw me as how I am and how I want to be seen. And I was really like ecstatic, and I couldn't tell anybody because I'd not come out yet, which sort of sucked a little bit. But yeah, and if I actually think about it, if I went through life and like constantly misgendered, like never passed, or I passed like once in a blue moon, I feel like that would affect me quite negatively. Like, obviously passing doesn't mean you're any less of a man or any less of a woman if you're a trans woman or whoever. But I can see how it would affect you, especially if you're out. Like, everyone knows you as this name and as this guy, and yet you go out in public and you get misgendered constantly and you just don't pass as male. You know, I could really understand how that would affect you, and I think if that was me in that position, I would probably feel like shit all the time, because I mean, I don't even know exactly how I'd feel about it, because I am lucky enough to pass, and it's one of those things where when people say, you know, oh yeah, I understand, but they've never been in that situation, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, I understand why you would feel that way, I don't understand from a personal point of view. And I think passing is important to a lot of people, even if it is only in certain situations and certain areas, even if it's only important at certain times a little bit, it's still important to you. But obviously there are some people that really don't care about passing, and they just care about the fact that they are who they are and they know who they are. So passing to the public and to strangers doesn't really matter to them, which is absolutely great. And if you're one of those people that do not care about passing, then, you know, credit to you, because that is really, really good. And I think that a lot of that is just kind of thinking positively and thinking positively about yourself and looking at things in like the best light possible. So some people say things like, it doesn't matter if you pass to strangers. Basically, you know who you are who you are, like it doesn't make you any less or any more valid if you pass or you don't pass. And oftentimes it's one of those things that you can't really help. Like, there's certain things you can do to sort of increase the chances of you passing and make people see you in more of a sort of masculine or feminine light. But like, for example, a lot of trans guys have quite high voices, because obviously that's just the way that their body is built biologically. It means that their vocal cords make higher sound, which sounds more feminine, so people sort of hear that, and don't matter how masculine you kind of look, if you've got quite a high voice, people tend to look at you as sort of a more masculine woman, which absolutely sucks, obviously, that people judge people in that way. But if you're one of those trans guys that have quite a high voice or just struggle to pass, it is a really good mindset to be like, well, I know I'm a guy, like my family know I'm a guy, my friends know I'm a guy, they support me, so why should strangers' opinions matter? Because really, strangers' opinions don't matter. You know, obviously there'll be certain situations where they do matter, but like in this situation, strangers don't mean anything, and it just means that whether they see you as male or female, if you're not going to see them for the rest of your life, it don't matter. And my mind's kind of gone blank. I kind of forgot where I was going with the point, and I don't know where it started from. and like sort of where I branched off and went into different points, I've confused myself. I really need to start planning videos out and actually have an idea of where I'm going with things so I can add to notes and go, oh, this was an important point that I wanted to make. Or this would be a good thing to branch from this thing, rather than just going off on one and going off on a tangent because I don't know where I went. So yeah, sorry about that. I mean, obviously I won't know until I edit this, but I hope it wasn't too confusing for you and it actually made sense. And it's just my brain that gets confused. But anyway, feel free to comment down below and share your thoughts on passing. You know, talk a little bit about your thoughts on the importance of passing and whether it's important to you, whether it's not, and why. Also, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, hit the subscribe button for this channel because there'll be new videos every single day and a new topic for the videos every single week. And if you want to, you can see more from me by going and subscribing to my personal channel. The link to that will be in the description, in the cards, and on the end slate, so you can click it wherever you want. Oh, I also made a video over my personal channel about tips for passing as male. So if you want to go and check that out, I'll also link that everywhere as well. So yeah, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.